Now guys, listen to this. A mysterious mummy was found in a tomb in Peru with hands covering its face. In 2021, a mummy, fully bound in ropes and with its hands covering its face, has been discovered in an underground tomb in Peru. Archaeologists from the National University of San Marcos found the mummy in good condition in Cajamarquilla, a significant site 15.5 miles inland from the coastal city and capital Lima, Peru. The mummy is estimated to be between 800 and 1,200 years old. Although the mummy's striking pose, bound by ropes and in the fetal position, appears chilling at first sight, researchers believe it is a southern Peruvian funeral custom. The tomb also contains ceramics, vegetable remains, and stone tools. Did you also know that ancient Egyptians did not ride camels? The camel was not used regularly in Egypt until the very end of the dynastic age. Instead, the Egyptians used donkeys as beasts of burden and boats as a highly convenient means of transport. Pharaoh Pepi reigned for 94 years, earning him the distinction as the longest reigning monarch in all of human history. You'll soon understand that Egyptians loved honey. They didn't just eat it, they also used it for fly control and birth control, more on that later. Evidently, he lived that long by ingeniously avoiding flies. No fans or fly squatters in his court. Instead, Pepi preferred dousing his servants in honey and letting the flies stick to them quite literally. That's one way to deal with pests. Ancient Egyptians were the first society that we know of to create birth control. But, of course, this wasn't the pill form. It involved crocodiles. In order to avoid pregnancy, ancient Egyptians would mix together mud, honey, and crocodile dung. How delicious! The mixture would then be inserted inside of a woman prior to the evening festivities. The acidity from the crocodile dung was known as an effective spermicide. Egyptians also loved pets of all kinds, but cats were the most sacred of all animals and had their own cult religious movement for a while. When a cat died, every member of the mourning family would shave off their own eyebrows in sorrow. If someone killed a cat, even by accident, he faced an angry mob and was sentenced to a poisonous snake pit. Cats were so sacred to ancient Egyptians that when a cat died, it was mummified and buried in a cat cemetery, along with mummified mice, presumably for Tom and Jerry-style hijinks in the afterlife. Cats were also buried with a bowl of milk, in case they got thirsty in the afterlife. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, pharaohs had doctors for every part of his body and had one called protologists, and their job would be taking care of the backsides of the pharaoh's stuff? They were literally the shepherds of the anus. I mean, wow. 1. Not everyone was mummified after they died. Think of ancient Egypt and the scary image of a mummy springs to mind. But, because it was an expensive process, not everyone could afford mummification, and the remains that have been found tend to belong to royalty or some high-ranking official. Mummification or embalming was expensive because it was a complicated process and took a long time. It involved removing most organs and all moisture from the body before it was wrapped in linen. Poorer Egyptians were simply buried in graveyards on the outskirts of the desert. 4. Cleo Patra may not have been as beautiful as once thought. The last queen of ancient Egypt, Cleo Patra VII, would both Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, and was described by Roman historian Dio as a woman of surpassing beauty. But some revisionist historians now believe she may not have been the oil painting we once thought. A number of coins from the period, said to depict Cleopatra's profile, show an unattractive woman with a prominent hooked nose, sloping forehead, and sharply pointed chin. Some say that it's the hypnosis she used on the men hat made her appear stunning. But researchers and archaeologists say that the coin with her picture on it depicts her not-so-beautiful nature. That's what I call terrific discovery. Subscribe for more.